Thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah.
We're going to have a brief conversation about the past, the present, and maybe some insights in the crystal ball of the future. But I'd like to start by asking you that with internet generations evolving quite quickly, and there are fewer and fewer of us who remember the dial-up audio modem, those were the good days, not. How has IIJ, your company, survived in a marketplace where, to the outsider, we see large economies of scale, large companies, and your company certainly has grown in size. How have you been able to survive and thrive in volatility all these many years?
Probably I founded my company in 1992. But luckily, in this time, in the internet, the world of internet, who knows the world of internet? And in this sense, also in the United States, that the UNet was so that get a good success, big success. But I would like to accelerate the internet development or the market. But luckily, the Japanese government worry about the internet itself, technology of internet. For the government, that who can control case of internet? Perfectly different from the telephone. In that sense, that we have to not so easy to get a license to start as an ISP. We are the first company as a commercial based internet services, but have to wait 1 year and a half, have to battle and have to discuss so long time with the government. But this day, I understand why the government worry about and fear about the internet itself. I understand. Who can control the internet? Not yet. Cannot have any resolution. And I think that especially such a technology expand, and also that if look back for past, luckily we can get some success to catch up the United States also, and we have a good technology, and luckily the young engineer who would like to have some relationship with the internet have to accept to come to our company. They cannot manage develop any internet-related technology. So every specialist in this time gathered our company, but financially they're very serious. I cannot pay any money. What's such? Just I used to say to our employer that. Sooner or later, we will replaced by a telephone company like LDT or KDD. I used to say our employer.
Yes.
Yeah, but.
So it's a trust-building exercise both with customers and the financial community and the government. I'm mindful of an advertisement from All Nippon Airlines. I've seen it in a number of periodicals, including The Economist, and they want customers to know that they embrace the Japanese concept of kikubari, Kikubari. I thought it was a bird of some sort, kikuburo, something like that. But actually it means anticipating the future, anticipating wants, needs, and consumers. So you've got a number of different constituencies that you have to satisfy, the financial market, your customers, the government. That requires a lot of nimbleness. Is that something that a small company could do?
Yeah, but you said the kikubari, but our company culture, don't forget the kikubari. Japanese government would like to kikubari. LTTK is such a big company, used to kikubari. Never progressed. In that sense, our company haven't any kikubari first. Of course, for customer.
Right.
The case of Japanese customer is very conservative and very nervous.
Yes.
When I started our services, in case of the United States, it stopped sometime. It's internet.
Yes.
But in case of Japanese customer, why stop to 1 minute, 1 second or so? In this sense, for us, not so easy to develop a new type of technology.
Right.
Japanese customer, also the consumer, also the enterprise company. Our company was a wholesaler, very, very nervous and conservative. In case of the United States, some technology developed by us. Firstly, their reaction is to use as a trial.
Right.
But case of Japanese customer, is there some company who use this technology also? And they hesitate and never introduce real time. We have many ideas, but unluckily we started in Japan and such a customer culture, not so easy to develop the new type of services.
Right. So we in the United States often have a view that if we build it, they will come. And I like to come to PTC to get a sense of the new technologies and the new services, enterprise networking, the Internet of Things, terabit per second service, and a real movement to fiber. So it's mindful. It's important to remember that sometimes the consumer is not technology obsessed, is technology agnostic. They just want reliable, affordable service. So sometimes you can't be technology driven as much as consumer driven. And I think what I heard from you is that sometimes you have to sort of educate the consumer or encourage them to migrate from that trial into a recurring service. So time passes, the internet generations are very, very quick in velocity. That takes us to the present. We spend a lot of time at PTC, and certainly in my research agenda, I spent a lot of time looking at the regulatory and policy issues of the day. What are the one regulatory issue or set of issues that troubles you and keeps IIJ anxious and sort of energized to try to resolve? What are the regulatory and policy issues of the present in Japan? And are they the same as the United States? Are they universal, or are there certain specific issues?
I think that internet also communication itself regulation not so different from the United States. But once as the usage level is perfectly different. For example, in case of the financial sector, right. Japanese banking system not yet the mainframe. For example, a case of IBM, just Japanese financial sector increased their sales revenue because the Japanese government never changed the regulation. In the sense that when we are listing in New York NASDAQ, at almost biggest merchant bank already use the internet and the open system.
Right.
They stopped that they developed the mainframe, not yet in case of Japan. Regulation by the government never switched to the open system.
Right.
Not so easy, very limited part of their system use the internet. In the sense that the issue is not the regulation by the communication. I think that the social system and the government system have to change. Right. For example, financial system also does every regulation. A little bit different from the United States.
Yes.
Just because, for example, the case we easy to understand, like ATM, you know.
ATM, not asynchronous transfer mode, but automated teller machine. You know, it pays to know your acronyms.
But, in case of Japan, that just 1 minute stopped.
Yes.
Very serious.
With a chip?
Yeah.
Yeah, chip and pin.
Yeah. Case of United States. Many over half of ATM never work.
I've experienced that.
It's okay. There's such a thing that regulation, the issue of regulation, very big one, because the government have to understand technology change every mechanism of the world.
Right.
In the sense that I worry about, unluckily we started in Japan. I used to think,
yes.
If the case we start in the United States, it's popular, it's a global standard.
Right.
But unluckily, in the case of Japan, we developed a new type of technology that in Japan, not so easy to find a good investor, also a good customer, and also Japanese language. not so easy to become a global base. We developed once wide area Ethernet system.
Yes.
It's easy to use a global base. We developed ourselves, but unluckily, now that the global standard, such a technology,
Right.
but unluckily, we start in Japan. Very customers hesitate to introduce such a new type of the technology.
Yes. I want to get to the last question, but just to emphasize, when you talk about open systems, we're dealing with financial tech, fintech, as an example of a market. We're dealing with technological open access, open internet, and we're dealing with regulatory policy as well. Which leads me to the last question in the remaining just 2 minutes. What are the key challenges and opportunities, do you think, for ISPs like your company going forward?
And I think that just as the internet, I believe that just over the introduction, the next stage of very serious technology innovation, especially that 3 or 4 years later, new processor, type of processor, change the perfect world.
New processors?
Yeah. And almost compares now that 8 times or so. It's changed everything. For example, we used to talk about big data or so.
Yes.
If there's a new type, we introduce a new type of processor,
Right.
real time, the global, every personal information, easy to gather and do analysis. And also that in this time that I don't know it's all okay or not, but the United States, for example,
Yes.
control every information, I think.
Oh, that doesn't happen. No. Well, I know we have to wrap up, but hearing you talk about the future, we're just starting. I hope that means that PTC has a long future ahead, as well as our audience. New processors, data security, cyber security, and privacy. So I believe we've exhausted our allocated 15 minutes. I want to thank you for having a nice chat and visiting with us. And please join me in thanking Mr. Suzuki.
Thank you.